Hello. All right. So welcome to my channel. I think I'm gonna end up posting this on YouTube. I didn't end up streaming this just because it's gonna be a mess. I'm not the best builder. I love building, but I wouldn't say that I'm the best at building. So I think I'm gonna do the designing part of the home on Twitch, but I think this part where I'm just where I'm just trying to figure out the layout of the house and everything, I think will just be a filmed video for my YouTube channel, but it'll probably be posted after I start the series. If people are interested or something like that, but I just wanted to film it in case, and then this is also a good test run to do all of that. Okay, so let me pull up the house I want to build. So basically the idea of the series was to be my planned life. That was what the series I think is going to be called. So it's basically going to be my life right now, kind of, but like in Sims. So I'm gonna start out in this series, my sim version of myself is gonna start out in this series living at home with their parents. So in that case, what would you do what other thing would you do than build your house? The house I'm building isn't gonna actually be my house. Like, it's gonna be a variation of houses in my neighborhood, but they no longer have my house layout online, so I just picked one that was close enough, and so that will give me a pretty good baseline, to play the game. Like, it does not have to be exactly like how I'm living. That is completely fine, but I just thought it would also be fun to build my house in The Sims. I always tell my family that I'm gonna do that, so actually having something to show for it will be pretty cool. If this turns out good, I'm gonna be mad that I didn't record it, but that's okay. Okay, so I sped this up by 8 times speed because I was really slow at building. Really slow, but I mean, what do you expect? I was looking at a real house, and like a layout of a real house, and then trying to build that. So this first part is just me kind of just trying to figure out what the initial layout is going to be, and playing around. There was 2 different elevations, so I just kind of merged them, and you can see me stop sometimes because I get kind of confused a little bit by the 2 different layouts, but I get there. I figure it out eventually. So I added the garage, which is kind of weird. Sims, we don't really need a garage, but it's a real life house that has a garage. So I think for the game I'll probably just use that as a storage room of some sort, which is what our garage is used for anyways. And then so I was adding that little square as the powder room, the hallway, and then kitchen and living room, and then so the first floor is pretty much done. It's a pretty open concept. So here I was just trying to figure out, my house is elevated off the ground, so before I've had problems with that initially, trying to figure all of that out, but I got there, and so now we're building the deck. So it's a wraparound deck, and you'll notice that I end up putting the triangle there, but there's a little bit of square, like a little tiny piece that's missing. We're just gonna ignore that. You guys didn't see that. You didn't see nothing. So I'm adding the railings, and the porch is pretty much done. Easy peasy. I didn't Google it at all. That was sarcasm. So I was just trying to figure out also where to place it on the lot, and you'll see me move the house a few times because I was confused for a lot of this. And then the backyard. Okay, I actually had a lot of trouble with the backyard fencing. Because I elevated the house, I couldn't put the fence, connect the fence to the house, and that was annoying me a lot. So I said, that I would just hide it with some bushes. I don't think I ended up hiding it with bushes, but you know, it figured itself out on one end by the end of it, and then the other end I just put a door and was like, no one's gonna notice, it's fine. But yeah, I was playing with this for a little bit because I couldn't figure out how to connect it to the house without that one part of the fence being added to the elevation. So now we're working on the second level, and the second level pretty much just follows what the first level's layout did, but it's excluding that like bay window part. So now I'm just adding all the rooms in, and that took a little bit of playing around with. So you'll see me initially draw them out and then play around with where the doors are, where the landing is, such and such. So on the upper level there is 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So the walk-in bathroom for the master bedroom, and then the kind of kids bathroom, I guess that's what they usually call it. And oh yeah, we've arrived to everybody's favorite part, the roof. I struggled with this part. I every time, at least here I had a reference. Usually I don't have a reference. Whenever I make my roofs, they do not look good at all. So at least here I was like trying to mimic what it actually looks like in real life. So that was helpful because it helped me place shapes. But here you can see I was trying to figure out the 2 halves. I realized in the end you could have just used the one square one. Guys, I don't make roofs for a living. But yeah, we got there. It looked okay. I mean, there's mistakes, there's holes and gaps, but again, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna ignore it. I did my best. So that's all we can ask for. Yeah, so I ended up, I think, playing around with this a little bit. Like where I really had trouble with was the porch roof, because see that corner piece there? I could not for the life of me figure out how to get it so it didn't stick out. So it looks fine at the end. Like I don't think it's too crazy of a like noticeable mistake, but yeah. So if you don't come for me, please. Yeah, and then I think after I did that, I added the columns to the porch, which looked really nice, and then that also helped me figure out the roof stuff, because then I knew that I needed to pull up the roof a little bit more to cover the columns. And then again, I'm moving the house because I realized that you should be able to walk in front of the house, and I put it too close to the street, in which in this case moving the house meant I had to make the backyard shorter, and then it was a mess, but it was fine. And then windows actually wasn't that bad. Usually I do struggle with adding windows, but again, because I was using a reference image, it wasn't even that bad. There was a part though I had to, because the inside landing, it's like the foyer, I think that's called. So it's upstairs and downstairs. There's no floor between them. And so when I deleted the floor for that part, the roof was coming through, and I was like, oh no, this is not what we wanted. So I had to edit the roof there, and that kind of messed up the window, so I had to replace that window. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't think I'm there yet. That's more so when I start with the inside. So yeah, so I just went around, added the back door. That's the back door right there, and all the windows for the first floor. Some of them don't match. It's okay. We, again, ignoring this. But yeah, like, that was super fun. On the whole one side of the house, there's no windows, because usually that would be where like the next house in the neighborhood would be sitting, so you don't really want a window facing into the next person's house. So I just didn't add any windows there either, just for the sake of following the layout. But yeah, it was looking pretty good at this point. But this is where, you see, I was like, oh, there needs to be a landing, you need to get to the other room. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to edit that piece as well. And then this is where the roof was coming through, so I had to do that, and then that messed up. I was having a blast. So much fun. But I figured it out eventually, and then I just re-added in the window that got deleted. And then I was trying to figure out how how to do railings. So they won't let you put railings. I feel like other people know this, but for me, I didn't know this, that they won't let you put railings in places where you would usually have a railing in a regular house, because railings have to be on stairs. So I had to use the fencing, and then there was no fence that directly matched the railing, so it kind of matches. Yes, let me make you dizzy for a second. But it kind of matches the staircase railing. So I did that for that this landing piece too. And then I ended up fixing the room so there was enough room for the Sims to walk into each room. I did not play test this, so if it doesn't work, do not yell at me. But I will play test it soon when I start the series. But after I finish this build, I did not test that this hallway works, but I assume it does. It's one square, and then the landing is, I think, about 4 squares, so it should be fine for them to use. I added in all the doors, which was super satisfying because it all worked perfectly. And then I had to figure out this part. So in the drawing, it was the walk-in closet goes into the bathroom. So I just kind of did open wall and then added the door on the second part. And then I had to save the game because last time I spent hours doing a build, my game crashed and I cried for 2 months. No, I'm not even joking. Like, I didn't open Sims for 2 months because I was so distraught that I forgot to save it, or like click save at a frequent period. So I've gotten better at that. It only took me an hour into this to be like, oh yeah, shoot, I should really save this. Yep, so now we're doing the outside. So yeah, my house has siding. We hate that. It's just because the builders didn't do the greatest job. So currently we actually have a ladybug infestation underneath the siding, which is kind of, ladybugs are cute, but when they're in masses like that, it's kind of icky a little bit. I have a thing with, I feel like a lot of people have a thing with bugs, but I have a thing with a huge mass amount of bugs moving at the same time. It just makes me so uncomfortable. So I just close my eyes. I don't look at that. Okay, so here we're just playing around with trimming. I was trying to figure out the colors. So on my house, the what do you call that? The ducts, like why am I forgetting the name? The water spout thingies are like beige, but the columns are also beige. But in this game, I don't have a beige swatch for the columns, so it's just white. So I thought it looked kind of weird to have beige for the roof trimming, and then the columns were white. So I just made everything else, like the trimming and the trimming around the base, white as well to match, just for the sake of it looking decent. I know the brown is kind of blah, but that's my house is like pink, salmon pink. They didn't have salmon pink, and I thought the brown was the closest one. But if you guys want to download this house off the gallery, you can change the colors to make it more exciting. This was just, I was trying to make it as realistic as possible. Yeah, like as realistic as possible, I guess. So this is me getting frustrated that there's no fence door that matches. Why is there no fence door that matches that color? I was so mad. I was like, I just want a square fence door that's one door that you can walk through. They only had the double doors that worked with this fence, and the colors never matched the swatch. So I was so frustrated, but that's okay. So now I'm just doing the basic landscaping, very, very basic, just so when I do stream, like me decorating, I don't have to worry about the outside part, because I know it's very stressful for me to do outdoor stuff with The Sims. So, and you know, on stream there's people watching me, so I get even more stressed out. Well, I say people, there's usually like 3 people watching me, but still, people's opinions, people have opinions. So at least I figured if I do it now, then it's like less stress. I can just focus on the indoor stuff, and people can roast me about my design choices for the inside. But yeah, which is another thing. I realized that I didn't check if anything fit properly, so we might run into an issue where like the kitchen doesn't fit properly, but that's okay. That's a problem for when I start this. And then yeah, basically to end it off, I just made all the walls white. Alright, I'm gonna end this part here, uploaded it to the gallery, so hopefully when it comes time to play, I can just grab this house and furnish it. Alright, well, I will see y'all next time.